Get in like the Marines.
Franchise.
Yeah.
Franchise.
We're in.
Franchise. Franchise the damn thing.
And now, a scene from Prometheus.
What we hoped to achieve was to meet our makers, to get answers. Why they even made us in the first place.
Why do you think your people made me?
We made you because we could.
Can you imagine how disappointing it would be for you to hear the same thing from your creator?
I guess it's good you can't be disappointed.
And scene!
Welcome to Franchise Addicts, a podcast covering every film in a given franchise. My name is Luke.
And I'm Chris.
And this week we are covering the seventh movie of the Alien franchise, Prometheus.
Prometheus.
We're back to Ridley Scott, baby.
Yeah, it's gotten serious again.
The trilogy that never was, or the second trilogy that never was.
Yeah.
So we got Prometheus. We've got our next movie coming up, Covenant.
And then nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So we kind of know where this part of the series is going, but we really did kick it off with a bang with Prometheus. Chris, what are your overall thoughts on Prometheus going into this? What were your thoughts? Let's take it back. What were your thoughts when this movie first came out? Obviously, I didn't watch it when it first came out in theaters in 2012.
That's right.
Did you catch it in theaters? What was your anticipation for this movie?
It was huge. I went on opening night. I believe it was in May. I won't say an exact date. But May of 2012. I was already a big fan of the Alien series. And of course, this was like a return to form. This was a return to Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's return to sci-fi. It was a big budget movie. It was supposed to be weird and artistic, but also like epic and huge. And I was very, very excited. And I had very high expectations. And I went opening night. And I liked it. I definitely liked it. It wasn't exactly what I thought, which I think that's echoed from everyone that saw it. But I really liked it, and I specifically remember the and I know we'll talk about it, but like the med pod scene was just like, wow, that was incredible. That was so awesome, and it was a beautiful movie, and that was my impression from way back when.
Yeah, This movie has a lot to chew on, so I can't even imagine what it would have been like in 2012 with people fully anticipating what this movie was, just having like bits and pieces, little hints of what it was going to be. Was it going to be a full-on prequel? What were we going to actually cover? Were we going to get the creation of the xenomorph? What was going to happen in this? And then to get the movie that we got. And I mean, I feel like the legacy of this movie is that people were kind of disappointed when it first came out, but as people have kind of revisited, chewed on it a little bit more, had, Covenant come out and all that sort of stuff, that this movie kind of has a weird appreciation, especially with like the really big Alien fans.
I think so. I think it's still mixed.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Seems that people like this more than Covenant. People actually kind of don't love Covenant, from what I've seen. Although I don't know. I mean, what am I talking about? Where's my information? This is like internet polls and stuff like that. So it maybe means nothing. But I think, I mean, it did well from a box office standpoint.
Yeah, I got some of the numbers. So
Let's do it.
It was a $130 million budget. So this is just a humongous, like very expensive movie that Ridley put together to come back into the franchise that outpaces every single one of the movies that preceded it by a large margin. It grossed 126 domestically, so it didn't quite make back its money in the US, but it made 403 worldwide. Plus domestic. So, I mean, it more than made back its money, but definitely in the U.S., you could probably consider it a flop.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge success. I guess I would say that. Yeah, I don't think it was received the way that many people thought it would be. Like, this would be this huge new thing, and but I think people were confused because what is this movie about? Great segue.
Exactly. So 2012,
Yeah.
director Ridley Scott. We have the two writers. So John Spates put together the first draft of this with Ridley, kind of had everything going. It hit the producers in Hollywood, and they were looking at his script, and they weren't quite sure about it. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the producers wanted this to not have a direct connection to Alien 1979. And Ridley was kind of mixed about what he wanted to do. Spates definitely wrote it as a full-on prequel to this is how the xenomorphs came into existence. This is going to be on the same planet that Alien 1979 was on, and all that sort of stuff, and everything was going to segue into that movie. They kind of wanted to shift away from that, and so they bring in Damon Lindelof, who famously was the writer for Lost.
And The Leftovers.
He hadn't done The Leftovers yet.
True. Would go on to do that in The Watchmen. He is the writer extraordinaire, the weird guy that is very successful too.
Yeah, so Lindelof comes in, takes his crack at the script, adds in some more character depth for the Shaw character, for instance, adds a little bit more to the David character, and kind of deepens those types of connections while dissolving away a lot of the connection to the 1979 Alien movie, and really tries to make it its own thing, kind of the creation story, so to speak, of this universe.
Yeah, so, and if people haven't seen it, this movie is getting into people trying to find and go and discover or go find out the origins of mankind. So, yeah, we're getting away from xenomorphs. They're kind of involved. Well, no, the xenomorph is not directly involved, but aliens that are kind of like that, yeah, they're involved. Do you know if the Spates script was originally planned to be a trilogy? Or was it...
I think when Ridley wanted to come back to the franchise, it was always going to be 3 movies.
Okay.
And they were going to basically start with this kind of creation mythos and slowly morph it into this is how the xenomorphs came into the universe as a whole, as the destructive forces they are. And the production team, for some reason, kept on coming back to him and being like, just make it more abstract. Like, make it in the same universe, but don't try and connect it to your original movie, like, as, straightforward.
And the title says it. The title does not say Alien at all. Of course, Alien Covenant, they changed it. But yeah, I guess the thought being that some people would maybe I read this like wouldn't know it was a prequel or would just appreciate it as its own thing and then be like, oh, by the way.
Well, in 2012, I'm in my second year of college. One of my friends that I lived with at the time, shout out Ross. I know he listens to this, so
shout out to Ross.
Shout out to you, Ross.
What's up, Ross?
Was very excited for this movie to come out, and it was almost a surprise when he told me. I don't know if he was the first one to tell me. I'm sure I had heard it on podcasts and other stuff that this Prometheus movie by Ridley Scott was actually an Alien movie. Because I think in a lot of the marketing, it was not even really marketed as like a full-on, like, this is going to connect to the Alien movies.
Yeah, but people that were into it knew. I knew.
Yeah, so what this movie ends up becoming is like this full-on first movie touchstone for everything else that we've previously seen before in the series and kind of how it comes to be. And if you just take the movie that we see, Prometheus, as itself, like I said, I can imagine the first time watching and be like, really? Like, you kind of pulled a lot of the punches that would actually connect this to the movies that we've seen previously. and expanded on answering questions that we didn't even have questions for in the first place. It's like, who gives a crap? I don't care how the universe and humanity came to be when I'm watching an alien movie.
Yes.
I care about how the xenomorphs got created. And then all of a sudden in Prometheus, that's the only question that they're really trying to answer for the first 3/4 of the movie is like, how did man come to be?
And even after that, the introduction to the creatures and stuff seems a little murky as far as like, well, where are we going with this? What does this mean? But we'll get into that, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the creatures, and I'll just say this at the top, kind of seem thrown into the back part of this movie, like they were just inserted into script to reconnect it back, where they're like, hey, stay away from the thing. Oh, you wrote it? This sounds really reminiscent to the other movies. We need creatures now. Make sure that you're doing a little bit of connective tissue.
Yeah, and I also recall like the opening scene. So you're so pumped up. You're in that theater. You see the beautiful landscapes of this planet that they're on, and then you see the engineer, the Uncle Fester on steroids, drinks some something and disintegrates, and you're like, what is this? It's just not what you expect, and I don't know. It definitely, I feel like, maybe bit off a little more than it could chew.
Engineers? Do you mind telling us what they engineered?
Exactly, and they will.
Yeah, so let's get into our scene-by-scene breakdown. We're going to give this one the full treatment.
Should I ask you though first? I mean, do you like it? Do you not like it?
We'll get into it. I think well, like the movie Prometheus, I'll slowly reveal my thoughts on this movie, but I do want to give this one the full treatment, the full deep dive into this movie, because I think it fully deserves it. I'll at least give that much away. I feel like this movie fully deserves a full look through.
Okay.
So back to that grand opening scene, we get the flyover shots of this beautiful vista of the world, untouched as it was. We are on Earth.
How do you know? I know that's supposed to be it, but like, how do you know?
That's true. I mean, there are landscapes and water that are very earthly.
Sure, okay.
But yeah, you're right. With no like discernible earthly creatures to have as touchstones, it's tough to know for sure that this is actually Earth.
I just recall in the beginning being like, I have no idea where this is. But okay, yes, it's Earth. It looks great. I mean, the movie has so many beautiful visuals.
I mean, Ridley Scott can shoot a movie.
He can shoot a movie.
He can shoot some landscape, and the score is just unbelievable. I love this. I didn't look up who wrote the score on this, but the second time that I watched this movie and didn't really have to take notes on and could just kind of take it in, I'm like, this score bangs. It's so beautiful. It's transcendent. Like it's over the top of especially this landscape shot, and then into the engineer drinking the black concoction and falling into the waterfall and the molecules breaking off after decaying and turning into life and mixing with other organic material, and that score is just sweeping and coming back and hitting certain points. It's just glorious.
It's great.
We get our opening title. We get the lines, just like the 1979 Alien.
Up and down, diagonal.
And we get this kind of, knocking. We're going into a big cave. We've got Scotland, 2089, so we're setting our year there. And we have our two explorers. We've got Holloway and Shaw, the dynamic couple duo.
Yeah, they seem like a weird pairing.
Yeah, definitely some weird energy.
You've got like a very like kind of aggressive, mean, kind of alpha bro, and then Shaw, who is just very like, I believe. And
Holloway appears to be one of the smartest people in the world that if you just met him in regular life, you would think he was an idiot.
Yeah, and not really very kind.
You'd be like, you were just a mean douchebag.
Yeah. What? Yeah, very, very aggressive.
But he gets portrayed, at least in the first part of this movie, as being this like brilliant archaeologists,
Yeah.
you know, able to put all these connections together from all these ancient civilizations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they find this cave painting. It matches cave paintings that they've been searching for in the past. It's a giant figure that is pointing to 5 stars out in the distance, clumped together. Shaw, who is played by Noomi Rapace, and then Holloway, who's Logan Michael Green, who I know as Trey Atwood from the OC.
LMG.
Ryan Atwood's older brother who shows up in season 2, and spoiler for season 2, kills Marissa.
Wow. I'm too old for that show.
Or Marissa kills him, sorry. No, I even
Now I
ruined
can't
the
watch
spoiler.
it. I can't watch the OC now. What is going to happen with my life?
Did you ever seen the movie Upgrade?
No.
So that came out in 2018. It was
Yeah.
kind of Logan Michael Green's first starring, like he's the main character in it.
Okay.
He's like basically the only character in it. And it's a movie about a man that gets paralyzed from the neck down and gets an AI chip implanted into his neck, which is supposed to allow him through his mind to control his limbs again and be able to move while not actually, you know, connected through the central nervous system. The AI then goes rogue and
As it always
uses
does.
his body to, you know, carry out this mission that it's supposed to be doing, while Logan Michael Green's mind is like being like, whoa, what's going on? Why are my arms going all crazy? And why am I fighting these people?
Is it good?
It's pretty. No, it's pretty awesome. It's like a Black Mirror episode, basically turned into a movie. But yeah, those are the two things that I know Logan Michael Green from. I will say that Dr. Holloway is one of the worst characters
I don't like him.
in any of the Alien movies,
Yeah.
and it kind of sucks that I think Logan Michael Green is a fine actor, but he is so outmatched by every single other person in this movie that, and even like characters like Charlize who are kind of giving half effort and stuff, and Logan Michael Green is like trying to go pretty hard with his Holloway role, and he's really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I wondered if it was the writing or the acting.
I
don't
think
know.
it's him.
You
I think,
think?
yeah, I think this is not his. He like you said, he looks like a bro, like a guy that should not be smart, and they are characterizing him as one of the top scientists in his field. There's a particular theory that I'll talk about later that could give credence to why he's acting this way. But it is not put in the movie, so it doesn't make the performance any better if you just watch the movie.
Speaking of, I think Naomi Rapace or Noomi.
Noomi?
You ever see Lamb?
I have not.
Oh, crazy! Check Lamb out. She's in that.
The only thing I know her from, and I've never seen these versions of the movie, is the girl with the dragon tattoo, the Swedish versions.
Oh,
I've only ever seen the Fincher version, which does not have her in it.
yeah, she's cool. She's all right. So so they find they find cave paintings. Bingo. Same stars.
And we go 4 years into the future. What does this figure pointing at the stars all mean? Boom, scientific vessel, Prometheus, crew 17, date December 21st, 2093, distance from Earth 3.2 times 10 to the 14th kilometer, destination undisclosed.
Yeah.
And then we get probably the most lasting scene that this movie has to offer. We get introduced to Michael Fassbender's David.
Yeah, no, it's so beautiful. And then to think back really quickly to our the Alien opening. Great. The Alien opening is so good. Also though, like it's also I think it's an improved thing to say the synthetics don't have to be in cryosleep. So, like, of course not. They're just hanging out. They're doing stuff because why would they have to?
This was an idea that they had in the Alien movie. I believe they were thinking about doing this And then for sure, James Cameron had the idea for the Bishop character in Aliens to be awake during the cryosleep. And that's how they were going to introduce him as the AI. Like, obviously, he doesn't have to sleep. Jim Cameron then was like, well, we're not going to do it that way. And then they decided to put the knife scene in to kind of give away that he was an AI before it's actually just disclosed.
Sure,
and then Ridley in this movie gets to do the vision that all these creators have had before of like, what's the simplest way to do it? He doesn't have to sleep. Humans have to sleep. And they've been there sleeping for 2 odd years.
It's so good. And the ship is beautiful. He is...
Oh, dude, the Prometheus ship
Yeah, it looks
is
awesome.
so stinking cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that little bit of a retro look. It looks like the ship from Alien 79 a little bit, but like fully upgraded to, you know, what we can now show visually in movies. The 4 thrusters, the size of it is perfect. It's not too big. It's not too small. It doesn't need a shuttle ship to go down onto the planet itself. It can fully go down. So we don't have to like think shuttles down like in Aliens and shuttles back to the big ship
Yeah.
in space. Like I love this ship.
No big rooms with wet chains that just go on forever. It's awesome watching David learn languages. And the big thing that I think we have to talk about for sure is when he's watching...
Oh, no, dude. The big thing we got to talk about is him versus Sigourney in basketball.
Oh, that would be that would be a dream matchup right there.
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, basketball is back. You're like, you thought that basketball was done in these alien movies? You're wrong.
You think Sigourney Weaver dunking a basketball is cool? Fassbender is riding a bike and hook shot and threes in.
That's pretty good. That's a good point. He is he's hanging out with that basketball. He is keeping his robotic fitness up and watching Lawrence of Arabia. Have you seen Lawrence of Arabia?
William Potter is not minding that it hurts.
I have not seen Lawrence of Arabia. I do know it, you know, just from it being one of the most important movies in Hollywood history. But it's a cool way to introduce the, you know, what even Fassbender as an actor, but just David himself as the AI, you know, trying to learn how to be or to act human. Mm-hmm. And then to pick, you know, a super iconic movie with a super iconic lead man in Peter O'Toole playing the titular Lawrence and fully trying to become him. Like, he's changing his hair, he's dyeing it, he's combing it in a particular way. He's memorizing the trick William Potter line. The trick. And, you know, just trying to take something from cinematic history as his gateway into becoming an acting human.
And he does have motivations and he does have cares, which we kind of find out. I'm talking about David, of course. But so I actually haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia. I know it's a movie. It's a very popular movie. But I looked it up. And so the really quick summary is, due to his knowledge of native tribes, British Lieutenant Lawrence is sent to Arabia to find a prince and serve as a liaison between the Arabs and the British in their fight against the Turks. With the aid of Sheriff Ali, Lawrence rebels against the orders of his superior officer and strikes out on a daring camel journey across the harsh desert to attack a well-guarded Turkish port. So that is so foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. And I didn't really pick that out when I first saw it. I was like, oh, he's watching an old classic movie. But, I mean, he is Lawrence of Arabia, or he wants to be. And so just so cool. And is he drinking milk?
No, I think it's like a green liquid.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like some Vitagreens
Okay.
stuff or whatever. But he's having like a proper meal, which is weird. But I think it's because this AI, David, wants to be human more than any of the other AIs
Yes.
from the previous movies. They are, they look, talk, act human, but they will fully admit when questioned about their AI-ness that they're not human. David will too, but like he very much is matching the characteristics of humanity, probably because his creator wants him to be the son he never had.
Yes, and he made him in his eye, and so he also has some.
One could say he made him in his own image,
Yeah.
Mr. Wayland.
Yes, and he has some of the same wants and desires, but
A superior species, no doubt.
yes, absolutely. He is. The quest to find the superior species and all that. We'll get into it, but awesome setup with David.
And he is touching the pods of, the people that are in cryosleep and watching their dreams.
Yeah, new glitch there, or a new feature.
And we get to see some character background for Shaw, the Noomi Rapace character, that definitely, again, foreshadowing for her character. It gets touched on a little bit in conversations with other characters, but this kind of like scene of her father, Patrick Wilson.
Yes.
And her, it looks like they're, in doing some, Red Cross work or whatever, doing some work with people that are suffering from Ebola. It's hinted that her father dies of Ebola at some point, that her mother died during childbirth with Shaw. And the young Shaw is asking her father about, what happens when people die and different religious questions. And her father is kind of giving her, the vague answers that a parent would give a child about, what he thinks heaven is, why these people and the deaths that they see wouldn't ask him to be a part of it because they don't share the same religion and faith and stuff like that.
So watching The Leftovers and knowing about The Leftovers, how much of this do you think is Lindelof?
All of it.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing is like exactly like it's what I choose to believe, and like that's his shtick.
Yeah, it is.
There.
Yeah, it's Lindelof loves going as fully like vague religion as possible. Like, I will not connect this to a certain religious ideology, but it will be religious.
And I would argue later on they maybe do connect it a little bit to a specific
That's Ridley
one.
Scott.
You think?
For sure. In all of his interviews, the like Catholic Christian kind of thoughts that run through this movie are very Ridley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that, again, that is just based on the interviews that I've seen of him kind of answering the big questions that people had after this movie and the way that he's answering them. I think, and especially knowing Lindelof's other work in, Lost and all the religious, ideas that are in that, and then in The Leftovers, which is just straight up all of that stuff. Lindelof like never puts his thumb fully on like Christianity is what I'm talking about. It's always just vague religiosity in general.
Mm-hmm. But Ridley does not like to say Happy Holidays. He's going to say Merry Christmas.
You bet.
Every time.
And so we then are introduced to our first character who wakes up, and that is Vickers, played by Charlize Theron.
Yes.
And she's doing some push-ups, looking great.
Yeah, and angry.
She's
always pissed off.
The writing in this movie does her character a humongous disservice.
Yeah.
She has nothing to do in this, but the most like obvious. It's not even really a twist because of how obvious it is that ends up happening. That Mr. Wayland is her dad.
Yeah.
But they don't say it until the end of the movie when she dramatically is like, "Okay,
Father!
It's like, whoa, no
Whoa,
way.
are you kidding? I just thought she was a female Dr. Evil the whole time.
But I will tell you what, Charlize has done an incredible job for her like kind of highlight performances in the movies that she's in, where she kind of uglies herself a little bit. Monster, she wins her Academy Award. She has to play like a grungy serial killer. Even in Mad Max, you know, she has the arm, she's got the shaved head.
Yeah.
When they just let Charlize look like herself, she is the most stunning looking female, or just not even female, human that you'll ever see. And she is just glossed up looking beautiful.
She's attractive. And she is wearing the exact same costume as Dr. Evil from Austin Powers.
That silver jumpsuit.
It's the same.
Yeah.
So if you want some sexy Dr. Evil cosplay, see Vickers in Prometheus.
So they've been asleep for 2 years and 4 months, and then David goes into the minutes and seconds because he's David. And we get what every alien movie needs to have. We get a meal scene with the crew. We get introduced to some of our other characters. We get Sean Harris, who is Fifield. He's like, I didn't come here to make friends.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I call him the Pups guy.
Yeah. Oh, my pups.
My Pups. Yeah, he's Mr. Pups. He's not he's not very friendly. And then we have the other guy, the biology guy that I call Jamie Kennedy.
Rafe Spall, Milburn.
Milburn? Yeah, he looks kind of like Jamie Kennedy.
Chris, I know you're a Black Mirror fan.
I am.
The Christmas episode, White Christmas, with Don Draper Man himself, Rafe Spall is the main character in that episode. If you have not seen the White Christmas episode, absolutely incredible. Rafe Spall, sneaky, really good. He's terrible in this movie.
I saw that episode once a long time ago. I don't really remember it that well. But yeah, no, I mean, whatever, though. He doesn't have to do much except just say, like, ignoring 3 years of Darwinism.
He also is a very British actor that for some reason, Sir Ridley Scott, also a Brit himself, allows the two British actors, or known British actors, yeah, him and Idris Elba, Rafe Spall and Idris Elba, both have Southern American accents in this movie for some reason. The Idris Elba accent is so terrible.
Really?
Like, Idris is really good in The Wire, doing kind of the Baltimore, American Ebonic accent. And he is, for some reason, doing like a Texas accent in this, but it mixes with his British accent, like Cockney accent. And it sounds so stupid. And then Rafe Spall, he's doing like the impersonation that I would do of a Southern person. And it's really bad. Luckily, he doesn't talk that much, but it's really, really bad. But then, Sean Harris gets to do his Sean Harris, weird accent. Or not weird. I mean, I'm sure it's normal in England. But he gets to do that. Then the other, doctor character who's very Irish or Scottish is doing her full-on accent.
Going full Scotty.
So I don't know why they can't just let Idris Elba do his accent.
Well, maybe it was because they didn't want an Alien 3 situation where we get onto a ship and they're all foreigners for some reason.
Well, sure. But
I didn't find the accents to be too bad.
I will always be a proponent for unless it's so ridiculous that they would have the accent they normally have, just let them do that.
You don't like people
let
doing
Chris
that.
Hemsworth be Australian.
Yeah. Well, that's very woke of you.
Sure. So Vickers, she's the leader of all this. She put the crew together. We didn't mention Idris Elba other than his bad accent work. He's the captain of the ship. Mm-hmm. He gets to wake up and don the ceremonial cigar right out of cryo sleep, and he's putting together a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Because it's good for morale to see the passage of time.
Yeah, and he loves Christmas. And so he's done the Christmas tree.
And then we get to the reason for why this mission was put together finally. We get a video of Peter Wayland, who's played by Guy Pearce in crazy old man makeup.
Very old.
And he is in a holographic video giving the overview of the mission and introducing David to the crew as the son he always wanted and will always be. He is the creator of David. Yeah. He made him in his image. And the question that we're here to find out is, where do we come from? what is our purpose? The great questions.
The great questions.
And then we hand it off to Shaw and Holloway to give their scientific reasons for why they're the team leads for why we're here.
So first, real quick, he gets to say the cool line of, "If you're seeing this, I must have passed. May I rest in peace." Which is like,
That's
okay,
very
baller.
funny.
And then also, he knows where they're sitting. Did they have seat assignments? Because he's like, right here. And he points to them like, "You're a hologram, dude." So that was just...
Hey, this guy made David, who's,
he
the
knows.
smartest synthetic ever made.
His hologram can see.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's... and then, so he introduces them, and then you get...
He wraps up, and then Holloway, just the best joke of the entire movie.
Yeah, what does he say?
All right. Never had to follow a ghost before.
All right. All right, guys.
Hey, tough crowd. Never had to follow a ghost before.
I mean, never had to follow 500-year-old Guy Pearce before.
Yeah. Do you like his old man makeup?
Man, I love Guy Pearce. Memento is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think just the way he looks in that movie is so cool and adds a lot to it that it did kind of bum me out that he
Looks so old.
Yeah. But the normal-looking Guy Pearce, when he's doing like the TED Talks that they were kind of using as promotion for this movie, they look pretty cool.
Yeah,
I see why they thought it was a good idea. I don't think it ended up being a great idea, but
they had to
whatever.
make him old. And that's real quick shout out to all the promotional material for this movie, the TED Talks, and I believe there's stuff about the making of the androids that are like David.
Sure.
And it's really cool. Like very creative, awesome marketing. I remember being super pumped when I saw that drop on the internet.
Yeah, so Holloway and Shaw explain their cave painting theory and how they were able to find this particular sun with these blocks of, these 5 particular suns and locate the one moon of those that had the capacity to have life, that is LV-223. And they say that these cave paintings were an invitation from the engineers to come find them.
I like to think of it as an invitation. Quickly, so these star patterns, are we to believe that the engineers drew them? Because the humans couldn't see the stars, and they say like there's no way that the humans could have seen the stars. So either the engineers drew them, or they were like, "Hey guys, it's here," and they drew in cave paintings. They kind of showed them the star formations because they can't see it.
I think the idea is that after the engineers seeded life on Earth, there must have been some memory of their creators within them.
They probably just put holograms.
They could have, yeah.
Because that's their way to tell the past in a very nice narrative tool. They're just
Yeah.
just show holograms. It happened before.
Sure. I mean,
I don't think there's a direct answer.
No, I mean in the mythology of the stuff that's not actually in the movie, it appears that the early civilizations worshipped the engineers as God and knew them as the creator creatures that they were. And so as probably a part of that mythos, those paintings are made. Maybe they were just vague representations, and because of the where we've gone in science, we are then able to take this kind of imaginary idea of this figure pointing at 5 things that were clustered similarly together, find a thing that looks similar to that, find a planet that can support life, and then we just tie it back to the story of, all these things that are connected through the history. But, it's convoluted. They don't try to explain it
A little bit
at
of a
all in
stretch.
any way,
That's
but
more my point. It's fine though. It's good. It works. It doesn't matter. We see it. That's where we are. Hey everybody, we're on that planet right now.
Yep.
Everyone's jazzed.
Yeah. So they go into a landing sequence because they're taking the entire Prometheus ship down, and they're going on to LV-223. Holloway, as they're coming towards the surface, points out that God doesn't build in straight lines.
No, is that a good line? Did you like that line?
I
No.
mean, it is what it is. And so they're pointed towards this kind of dome-like structure. There's actually multiple of them if you look at the full landscape, but they go to one of them in a straight line, kind of in a valley with mountains on either side of it. And they arrive on the surface. They prepare for surface exploration. Holloway has another stupid line like, I want to open my presents right away.
It's Christmas, and I want to open my presents now.
Yeah, exactly. Because Idris is like, man, why don't you like wait till the morning?
Come on, man.
No, it's Christmas.
I also, do you think there was an homage to Scotty? Like, you know, that woman that's so Scottish, being just like always just chirping up in her Scottish voice, like, we got to do it now, Captain!
Yeah, I don't know.
With her awesome haircut.
A mean criticism that I could make of this movie from the visual style and some of the writing in it is that it is very similar to the Chris Pine Star Trek movies.
Okay. I thought those were fun.
They are fun, but this movie does kind of look and feel like them in more of the action and less of like the alien lore type stuff.
Yeah, bring me down.
Not to say that it's a full-on criticism, but I think it is cribbing from it a little bit.
One thing to point out too, so they're getting down to the planet. Before they go to the planet, we hear the first time that Shaw says basically like that she, you know, it's what I choose to believe. I'm sounding like David when I say that. I can't. My Shaw voice has to be different from David.
Numi is struggling to speak English.
Yeah, well, she's fine. But though it's an important line. Her character is very important. That she's
and that cross necklace is just
the cross necklace
protruding off the screen. They're like, she is religious.
She's religious. And then there's also, I think, that David, when she says that the first time, like looks at her very like curiously, and I think that obviously just sets up like where we're gonna go.
And as they're about to go onto the planet and do their original exploring, obviously David's going to come with them, and they're putting their suits on. And this is when Holloway, for no reason, just starts bashing David
Why
for
you got to
being
put that suit on?
Yeah, it's like...
You don't breathe, you stupid idiot!
He then, for the rest of the movie, anytime he interacts with David, is just
so mean.
So condescending.
He hates him.
No one else speaks to David like this.
Why would you? He's just a robot. Hey, you stupid fucking robot. You don't even breathe.
He hates him so much.
What is wrong with you, Holloway?
So they get onto the surface, and you know the different crew members get to do their cool stuff. Fifield gets to send out his pups, which are these little laser balls.
They're cool. They're cool tech.
It is really cool. They scan the inside of the caves.
Geiger tunnels. We see. I mean,
yeah.
Was he? No. Was he involved in this at all?
I don't think so. I don't think he was.
But they obviously are using the design that he came up with in the inside of the ship. I mean, a lot of it is. It's based off of that stuff, but he's not putting down any OG content, which is unfortunate.
But I will say that the set design, so one of the things that I should have mentioned up top, I'll throw it in here, is that like past Alien movies, this was nominated for visual effects for an Oscar.
Should have been.
Did not win, but, you know, again, I believe Alien and Aliens and Alien 3.
Alien 3 got it for visual effects.
We're all nommed for Vish, and this also got that. And it does, everything looks great.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. So they're in the caves, they're doing their exploring, and then we get our first interaction with the weirdness of this planet, and that is these holograms pop up, and they're running all over the place, reenacting. We don't know this yet, but I will be the voice of God here and just tell you what's going on.
Sounds good.
Reenacting the final moments of the engineers on this planet as they are, you know, running from certain doom.
So this is a nice plot device to show us what happened in a way that's not just some dialogue or something. My question to you, is this a clever plot device or is this lazy and kind of stupid? Because, like, why are these things there? Like, and they just play at random? It would just be like, you know, if you were like in your apartment and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the people here before used to play Twister all the time. There's a, you know, like what is that?
I
Hologram
like
people
it.
playing Twister.
I like it better than continuously doing flashbacks. So they use these holograms in 2 different sequences, once now and then once later in kind of the control room area.
Yeah.
I like it better than if they would have just done straight flashbacks.
Well, they
so
couldn't do flashbacks though, because how would they
Well, they could. They could have just cut back
told
to
the audience?
Yeah.
But they need the people they need the characters to have
Exactly.
some
So
kind of
it's kind of the only way from a writing perspective to like make that work.
Yep.
And I think
It's fine.
they don't
but-
do enough to explain why these things, like why are they recording everything in a hologram form, and why does it stop
randomly
recording
play
and then why does it randomly play? They don't explain
It's
any
a lot
of that.
of- yeah, that's
so
a
it
little
is
weird.
purely just for the plot
Yep.
and visual effects itself.
Yeah,
So-
but hey, it's okay. You could do worse.
It's whatever. You know, the last running hologram that they're following lands at a door. It's been decapitated. The hologram itself has been decapitated, and they open up the door because David apparently knows the codes and stuff.
David knows all the codes.
Well, he's been, as we
Studying
saw,
language.
he's been studying, like, it's called Indo-Archaic language, which is, like, our
that
best guess on what the universal language of our forefathers when there was, like, 5 people on the planet were.
Yeah.
And so he's typing away on these wall code things, opens up the door, and there's the head itself.
There's the head.
And it looks like the creature, the head from the creature that we see in Alien.
The space jockey explained.
And so they're trying to wrap that head up to take it back to the ship, which is a whole process. But we are then brought into this chamber with a gigantic head of the thing that we saw at the start of the movie, the engineer that seeded our planet with life. His giant head in stone form in this chamber, along with these vases, black vases of unknown substance.
That seem to have stuff perk up on the top. Also, real quick, so these people just officially now. I mean, I guess when they saw the structure, they were like, well, probably human life, or not human life, probably life forms. But then they see these holograms, and then they find the body, so they find proof of life, and they're like kind of excited, but more like I just was like, wouldn't you be like, we did it. Here it is, the first alien like here it is. We're looking at it right now. Wouldn't people just be kind of just shitting their pants a little bit more?
A superior species, no doubt.
Did you hear the excitement there? I mean, I know he's a robot, but I feel like the humans would be like, "Oh my god!"
Well, they kind of.
I gotta text my dad.
Shaw is kind of losing her mind. Holloway is like trying to act all cool or whatever.
Yeah,
like
just-
he definitely celebrates his own way when he gets back onto the ship.
He does.
And you know, Sean Harris and Rafe Spall, Fifield and Milburn are like, I'm getting the heck out of here.
He's a mean bully. So-
I love Fifield is like, I'm a geologist.
I like rocks!
I love rocks.
I don't like these. He's so angry, but he's expressing his fear. He's like, listen, I like rocks. I want to get out of here because I like rocks, bitch. I'm like, he's so aggressively saying like, I'm scared of the aliens. They want to go.
I fucking love Fifield.
It's such an interesting method of, you know.
Also, when they introduce him, like, in the ship, and he's like, I'm not here to make friends, and he just seems like the tough guy, and he's the first guy to be like, get me the fuck out of here!
I'm scared. I like rocks.
I like rocks! He's like, Milburn, you're with me, right? Milburn's like, yeah, man.
And then he also is the one that proceeds to get high.
Oh, yeah.
Later on.
Tobacco.
Yeah, we're just like, what? You're freaked out and you're getting stoned in the...
We'll get to that scene. That scene fucking sucks.
Okay, go.
It's so terrible. But, all right, so Sean Harris, Ray Spall, they fuck off and go back to the ship. The body has been dead for, note this, 2,000 years. And, you know, they bag up the creature. As this is happening, David is secretly grabbing a cylinder of the black ooze to bring back to the ship.
Yeah.
And they've collected what they need to. They get informed by Idris Elba that a storm is coming. Silica storm that has lots of static that causes lightning and stuff is headed their way. They got a clock countdown. They got to get back to the ship.
15 minutes or I will close the doors.
And
everyone I'm saying sounds like David now. I'm in the David voice thing.
I mean,
that's okay. But that was Charlize. 15 minutes. Also, real quick note. Did you know the original title of this movie was going to be Prometheus, The Secret of the Ooze?
Ooh, I would have liked that.
But then they realized it was the turtle movie, so they're like, fuck!
That would have been sweet if Leonardo just showed up.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh, man!
don't fear the ooze, brother!
I've been here before, dude! And
got
the
some
Vanilla
Zap.
Ice also comes out. Wow! That would have been a movie I would have seen.
Oh, man, I shouldn't have said Leonardo. I should have said Mikey. He's the party dude.
He's the party dude. Raphael, very angry.
Yeah. So we now get this big rescue scene because Holloway and Shaw get caught out in the silica storm, and David has to rescue them. Even after David rescues them from the storm, Holloway is still a dick to him the entire time.
Yeah.
After Shaw definitely has a closer connection to David after being rescued. She is like the reason why they get caught out there, because the head was going to...
She wanted to get the head.
Yeah, she wanted some head. And David rescues her. So they bond a little bit through this rescue. And Holloway not bonding. He has one thought on his mind.
Drink!
That is cracking the dom.
Drink!
And he just starts slamming champagne.
Very aggressively again.
What we did miss there is that because Sean Harris and Rafe Spall, our Fifield and Milburn duo, fucked off from the main team, they did not get the memo or were too far away to get back to the ship in time, so they are stuck out in the cave by themselves.
A note on this is that Idris Elba seems like he thinks it's funny.
He
He's
thinks
like,
it's
"You guys
hilarious.
have fun stuck in that cave where you will probably die."
Yeah, he's like, we'll be monitoring you. We'll let you know what
Can you believe these assholes? I was like, that's it. He just thought it was hilarious. That's terrifying. These guys are caught in a storm in this horrible alien landscape with like the Temple of Doom, and he's like, good luck.
Yeah. So they get the head back in to do some scans on it. They plug a machine into it, which basically turns whatever nerves are left in the head into the electronic pulses of when it was a living thing. So it kind of reanimates it in a way.
See the engineer giving his O face.
Yeah. And so the big engineer's head... Well, what also gets revealed in this is that the exoskeleton that we see from the original Alien is actually an exoskeleton. It is not what the engineers look like themselves.
It's
they
a
do not
helmet.
they don't look like an elephant trunk man.
No.
And so they take that helmet off. It is an engineer's head. That engineer's head then bursts into this green gooish type stuff. So there is some infection that got into these people or these engineers and is tearing them apart.
Scanners vibes.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So David is talking on a headset to someone. We don't know quite who yet. You guys can guess along. I wrote in my notes my guess, and I was correct. So this movie is not the most subtle at trying to hide certain things it wants to hide. And Charlize comes up to him and wants to know what the person he was communicating with, who David was communicating with, had said. And the person apparently had told David, try harder.
So we talk about it a little bit? I don't think it matters to...
Yeah, so he's talking to Mr. Wayland, who's
So-
in cryo sleep.
So, new wrinkle, you can talk to people in cryosleep, ?
I mean, he's communicating with their dreams, I guess, maybe. I don't know. A lot of the stuff they introduce and don't explain.
Sure, but yeah, he's talking to him in cryosleep. He's still alive, not dead. May he not rest in peace, because he is still alive, just in cryosleep with like 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, so why is Mr. Wayland on the mission? We don't fully know yet, but it does seem, with the clues that we have been given, the way that Charlize is talking to these scientists and stuff, basically like dismissing all of this progress and stuff that they want to do, that there is, as what always happens with these Weyland-Yutani missions, an ulterior motive.
Kind of, sort of, but it's even like, yes, there totally is, and 'cause she says like, there's a $3 trillion mission, it's not your money, so we're gonna do what we want to do. But ultimately, like, Wayland, I mean, yes, he wants to like find the engine, he wants to find a god and get eternal life.
Yeah,
but he's still like, they want to find the source of life.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
they don't want to take God back to Earth and weaponize him.
They have the same ideas. They have two different things they want from the god when they talk to it.
Yes,
basically,
for sure.
And we did forget to mention some of the other clues that were given that Mr. Wayland is on the ship. They do find this surgical chamber thing that you had mentioned at the start. Medpod, which features in a very cool scene coming up. But Numi Rapace... Oh, we'll get to that within the scene, but that Medpod is only for men.
Yep. So
it is not designed to help women at all.
First, I thought it was just for Charlize, if she got like a splinter or something.
Yeah, because it's in Charlize's living chambers.
Yes, sweet chambers.
But those chambers, again, this was brought to my attention later on during my research. But if you look at the chambers, they are not girly chambers.
No, there's like pictures of like bikini women on the
so
the
this
wall.
is Mr. Wayland's living chambers.
It's a dude layer.
Assuming that he gets more life from the god when he talks to him.
Just a bunch of sports and babes everywhere.
Yep. So we're back to them doing research on the goo that bursts out of the engineer's head. And they find out that it matches the DNA of humans, especially like that this DNA structure, our DNA, is the only thing that could result from this DNA structure. So they created us.
Boom.
And while that's happening, David is doing his own nefarious thing. He opens up that cylinder. He has a little bit of black goo on his finger.
Yep, he's doing the goo, looking at that goo.
Big things have small beginnings.
That's right.
He says that very...
That's what I tell my girlfriend.
He has that very ominous look, and then David goes to talk to Dr. Holloway.
Yeah, he gives him a drink.
He brings out another bottle of Dom.
Hello, man who's been verbally assaulting me the whole time.
And
thought you could use some more to drink.
You know, Holloway already has the one bottle in the pool, in one of the pockets of the pool. He's just throwing the pool ball back and forth, slumping over, enjoying his seeming victory. They have the back and forth that we did at the top.
Yes, revisit.
And David offers him a drink and is like, I'm not going to have a drink with you because obviously it wouldn't do anything to me. Basically just responding to the way Holloway talks to him all the time. Because I'm sure if Holloway was like nice to him and was like, hey, buddy, have a drink with me, I think David would have just faked it with him.
Yeah.
But no, he has to return serve and be like, why would I drink with you? It wouldn't do anything.
You see him dap his finger in there really quick.
But he daps his finger, putting that black goo in, and Holloway has been infected.
Infected.
And what do you do after you're infected, Chris?
You have sex.
Yeah, immediately with the person that you apparently love. We'll get to that. In the meantime, we cut back to the people that we're concerned to no end about. That is Fifield and Milburn.
Unless you're Idris Elba, who thinks it's hilarious.
Well, Idris is talking to him and is like, our machines have kind of been glitchy about detecting moving life or anything like that, but we're getting something on the sensor. It does appear to be moving about 1 kilometer from you. And they're like, what the heck?
So good luck with all that. See ya!
And then it like blips out and he's like, yeah, it was just a glitch.
Whatever, I don't know you guys.
And
Good night.
Fifield and Milburn are like, click east.
Let's
Let's go west.
It's like a mean older brother.
And, Idris signs off from them. They get left over. And then Charlize comes in. Idris and Charlize have some talks about banging each other.
Weird.
Which is really weird.
I feel like the only purpose of that scene is to be like, no, she's not a robot.
Sure, but there is one other purpose, and that is it takes Idris out of the room when Milburn and Fifield get attacked.
Oh, sure.
So no one is in the comms room kind of checking up on them as they get attacked, so they don't know what really happened to them till later on. So Fifield and Milburn are back in the chamber room where all the black vases were and the giant head of the engineer. The black goo has been now spread out because when they opened up the cavern, the atmosphere changed in it, and the goo has reacted to it and is now coming out of the vases. And then weird stuff happens. We get the hammerpede.
Yeah, and of course that's set up that the worms got mixed up with the black goo, and that's why you get these big hammerpede. You called it?
I believe that is what they call it.
I called it the vagina snake.
Yes, the vagina viper.
Yeah, oh, that's even better. And yeah, so I mean, hey, we're sticking with our origins to Alien, and we're having very sexual creatures.
Yeah, and so that thing, so Milburn is, I believe, an evolutionary biologist, and he sees this creature that has never been seen by a human being before.
No, it looks
obviously.
scary. Yeah.
Looks very scary. Looks like it's about to attack him, and his strategy is, oh, it doesn't look that mean.
Yeah.
Let me touch it, and we're gonna have fun with this little guy.
It's one of the criticisms I've heard that, like, why does he?
Do you know who made the main criticism on a late night show at one time?
Damon?
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, really?
Quentin Tarantino respects this movie, but has made fun of this scene on late night TV before because he's like, no scientist would ever be introduced to a brand new creature and then treat it as a pet immediately.
That's very true.
And so, yeah, he's very critical of the writing in this particular scene.
Yeah.
I will stand by Quentin Tarantino's writing criticisms.
Yeah.
I think he has the upper hand there. But yeah, this scene it's very silly, but it's kind of our first gruesome big action, alien on human death scene.
Yeah.
And that hammerpede snaps Milford's arm in half and crawls up his suit and jumps down his throat and then oozes onto Fifield. His mask caves in on his face and looks like a
We get acid blood.
glass skull. Yeah.
Because he tries to cut the snake off, and then there's acid blood. So, hey, there we go.
Yeah. So, needless to say, Fifield and Milburn are dead as a result of this. We then get to post-coital Dr. Holloway as he looks into the mirror and sees his bloodshot eyes and a little black worm coming out of it.
Yes, and I think, it's definitely on brand for Alien, right, to have the very sexual-like monsters that we just see in the scene before, and then they'll go to a, post-sex scene, and yes, on brand with Alien, and Holloway is not looking too good. He needs some clear eyes.
What we also found out in the sex scene is that Shaw has been unable to have children. She is a barren woman.
She is.
So what is going to eventually happen to her is even more of a shocking revelation.
Virgin Mary?
I would say that is the illusion that the writer and director are attempting to make.
Absolutely. We can, I guess, maybe... I feel like I keep saying, we'll get into it, but a lot of biblical stuff is definitely happening, It started with the Christmas tree and the cross necklace, and but she cannot have children. This is something that's very, very important to her. It's trying to hit those emotional notes. Lost her parents. She needs to find out answers. she still believes that there is something, perhaps some order, some divine order to this world, and she needs to find out what that is and why. She's asking those big questions.
Yeah, it all comes back to there's a specific thing Mr. Wayland wants when he meets the engineer, and there's a specific thing that Shaw really wants when she meets her maker, so to speak. And those two things are conflicting, but they're both big ideas that, have been tossed around philosophically and religiously of like, if you could talk to God, what would you ask? And these two different approaches from Shaw and Mr. Wayland are going to come to a head later on.
Do you think Wayland's asks are deep, or is Wayland just like, hey, can I live forever? What's up? Hi, I also made people. I'm very good. I'm very exciting. I'm very successful.
Well, Wayland is the epitome of the ego of man, where because he has created David, considers himself a god.
Prometheus.
Yeah. So he is in effect asking the engineer, hey, you and I are basically equals. You created life, the human beings. I created David, who in every single way is better than any other type of human being. He's this perfect AI creature, but doesn't have a soul because, Mr. Wayland is not a god, so to speak, but
can't do souls.
He is going to appeal to the engineer god and say, we are equals, therefore I deserve more life.
Can you guys even do that? Or is this like a genie situation? So, but I think it's a very good point that he represents the ego. So then what, Shaw is just the...
Shaw is the conflicted believer. So she has had this faith her entire life, but God has beset on her many, terrible things. Like her mother dies in childbirth. Her father dies of Ebola while he's trying to help these tribes people.
Yeah.
And so, when she gets down to it, she literally asks the engineer, why do you hate us? Which is a question that a lot of conflicted religious people would have if they talk to God, like, hey, like if you're such a loving God, why do all these evils happen? Why does it seem like you hate me?
Yeah. Also get that from my girlfriend all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding.
And so, we'll get to that. To get to that, we've got to, go on our second mission with the crew. And because Fifield and Milford have lost communication between them and the ship, they are sending the crew back to investigate this to see where they're at. So they kind of strap up. Holloway's with them. He's getting more and more sick as they go on this particular mission. And David is going on his own kind of finding mission.
Solo expedition, find stuff out, kind of use all the codes, go in all the rooms, get a big hologram show of all kinds of different, like a big planetarium
Yeah,
scene.
and as a part of that, Vickers is supposed to be watching through like his cameras that he has on, and when he finally gets into the chamber, he shuts it off, and Vickers gets all pissed off. But yeah, there's a very cool kind of surreal scene with the holograms showing how the engineers, had their control room, and you get the big installation of the planets and the stars and all that. And David grabs the Earth, and that's where, it seems that the engineers are pointed at.
Yeah.
With this
a little
weapon.
unclear to me. I was watching it and I'm like, what does... you can see, and they show the Africa and you're like, okay, this is Earth.
Yeah.
We get it. But again, I guess later we find out for sure that's what they were thinking about. But a little unclear at the time. But yes, it looks really cool. Very pretty. Him grabbing the Earth is very... that's one of the thumbnails for the, the movie itself. So, nice. And then, of course, meanwhile, the rest of the crew onto the ship. Anything more you want to say about David and the planetarium show?
Just the one more thing that he, at the end of that, finds an engineer in cryosleep and knows that there is a possibility to wake up a engineer and actually have a conversation. So that's kind of the big thing that David finds out at the end of this. So
He struck gold. That's what they wanted.
His mission so far is going perfectly. Now he's just got to go back to the ship. He's got to wake up Mr. Whalen, take him back to this cryo chamber.
He's crushing it.
Get the engineer up, let him have a conversation. We're good to go. On the other side, the other crew is just going into more disarray. Holloway is getting sicker and sicker. He's like begging to Shaw. He's like, look at me.
How am I doing? Am I doing okay?
Am I doing okay?
She's like, holy shit, no.
And so she wants to get him back to the ship. They eventually find out that Fifield and Milford have perished.
Yes.
And so they're not as concerned about them anymore. And the whole thing is getting Holloway back to the ship, where we get another allusion to Alien, where they're trying to bring an infected person back onto the ship. Vickers, not a fan of that at all. And so...
She knows better. She knows what Sigourney did in the future.
Exactly.
She pulls out the flamethrower. Another...
I'd take a flamethrower to this place!
Classic Alien staple. Can't be an Alien movie without a flamethrower, or at least the use of a lot of fire.
And
so,
she actually gets to follow through with the extermination of an infected person, because Holloway is basically goes into the Jesus pose and says, do it. I want you to do it. And sacrifices himself, and Vickers obliges.
Any biblical references there?
No.
Okay.
I'd take a flamethrower to this place!
Just Pacino.
Just Pacino. Classic. Pacino.
No, I mean, it's the sinner admitting his sins and wanting to be cleansed in the fire.
Okay. So there's a little biblical stuff there.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's always... It's Lindelof we're talking about here, so...
Yeah.
So that all happens. We then get a ridiculous scene where Fifield comes back as a infected creature, and
he's
like
in
monster jumps around.
And he's like in a yoga pose when they find him.
Yeah, his legs are like over his shoulders.
They're like, oh, okay, what's up with this guy? He looks like a suitcase. And then he just jumps around, and he's... I had completely forgotten about that in the 10 years since I've seen it. I was like, oh, this is kind of dumb.
So
like, what's the point of that? Just to be like, look... I mean, I think they wanted to show some more monsters, show some more stuff. Holloway originally, in the original script or something, they wanted his infected self to look a little like a xenomorph.
Yeah.
And it didn't look so good. Too. And so they were... Actually, you can find... I believe they did make a scene. I don't want to say shot it, because it's not actual... it's a lot of CGI, but... They needed some more monster stuff is my only real, and to show this is mutating people, it's making them crazy. He was crazy before. It
gets Idris Elba's character, who I've just been calling Idris Elba. His name is Janik, but it doesn't really matter. But it gets him in on the action, because he actually comes down and helps to basically end Fifield. Although I don't think he shoots or attacks him in any way, but he
runs him over, right?
Oh yeah, he runs him over the truck.
Yeah, so he needed a little action. He's like, "Hey guys."
But this is such... It's a stupid scene. If you go back, just get rid of this completely. It doesn't need to be in there at all. But it then gets us to probably the second or third most important scene, which is... After all of this excitement occurs, Shaw is, up in the examination room, and David is running scans, because now that they know that having their helmets off in this dome area, they might be susceptible to an infection like Holloway.
But that didn't do it, though.
I understand that, but they also don't realize that David purposely did it. So they're just going to, Occam's razor. Oh, we took our helmets off. There's all this black goo on the ground.
We could all check you out.
We could all be infected.
Yeah.
And David has to ask the awkward doctor question, like, have you had sex within the last 24 hours?
Have you been intimate?
And then gets to do the, like, oh, you're with child. And Shaw is, like, freaking out. And then David does the thing that every bad guy in any Alien movie wants to do, and that's like, we're gonna knock you out, we're gonna put you in cryo sleep.
We want this thing!
And we'll take care of this when we get back to our planet.
Don't worry about it.
And so Shaw, in typical heroin fashion for alien movies, has to take matters into her own hands. And after she's been sedated by David, they think, it'll be easier to grab her. Not so easy. She's smashing people left and right. So Shaw runs to the med pod. She programs in a cesarean section. The med pod then tells her,
Dudes
hey,
only.
this is only for guys, so therefore cesarean out of bounds. She's like, well, what is the male version of this? And she programs in an abdominal, something is stuck in her abdomen.
Take something out of my stomach. How
Yeah.
about that? Yeah.
So she hops in. It starts its medical procedure, sprays her up, starts cutting her midsection. This is gnarly.
It is. It's my favorite. I mean, whatever. We shouldn't give it away. It's my favorite scene. I'm just gonna say it. I'll say it again. It stuck with me. You go to Prometheus to see a little bit of horror, to see a little bit of alien-like horror, and this is gonna give it to you in a new way. The med pod machine, cutting her open, all of it. So gory, so intense, and really, really good.
Yeah, especially with the close quarters, the way the camera's stuck in the med pod with her.
It's the classic alien of like isolation, in the small room.
But in this movie, it shows everything, like the blood, the guts, the horror of the creature coming out of her, that cephalopod-looking thing, and it's hanging from the claw machine, like in Toy Story, where the aliens look up the claw.
The squid.
And, I mean, it's about as good as horror gets in any of these movies.
It's great. Now, so do you think the black goo that they encountered in that first temple there is just like part of a squid family? Or because like we've got the vagina snake, as I like to call it, the squid. So it's just like that's.
So it's not what I've come to understand the black goo is through my research.
Yes.
Is that it's a genetic like mutator of biological life in general. So what it does basically is it interacts with genetic material and either breaks it down or builds it up, just depending on, what it interacts with.
Yeah.
There's a theory that it makes things that are evil more evil and more, like it expresses that within them
Like
more.
alcohol.
Sure. But Holloway is a mean guy, so, and same with Fifield, so when it interacts with them, it's going to turn them into, evil zombie creatures.
Yeah.
But because the black goo at the start of the movie is what the engineer, from all looks of it, drinks. It breaks down his body, but creates life on Earth.
Yeah, so he must have been a decent dude.
Sure. Or just basically whatever it touches,
It changes that makes sense. I was just curious because it does. There's a theme there because the black goo it interacts with the worms and we get the snake.
Yeah.
And it interacts in Holloway. It just makes him a weird, crusty dude.
He was going to turn into what Fifield basically turned into.
Yeah, weird, crusty zombie people.
Sure.
And then also Squid Baby.
Yeah, and eventually...
Which turns into a giant squid, but yeah.
Yeah, and eventually the Deacon.
The Deacon, yeah, we'll
get to that later, but this is where hints of how this is going to connect to the xenomorphs start to begin. Just the fact that it's black in the first place. But basically, this goo is a way for the engineers to alter genetic material.
Yep.
And so she is able to get out of that. She believes, because she ends up shutting the pod and she hits the evacuate or whatever.
She
basically
tries to
just
sterilize it, or
she
blast
thinks
it with a bunch of liquid.
She thinks she's at least contained the creature. We will find out that is not the case. While that is happening, she stumbles out all bloody.
Walking very well after just having
I would imagine that med pod can get you in, get you out.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It knows what it's doing. Those staples are good. The anesthetic is good.
For some reason, just them showing the med pod the way it was and all the little buttons and figures and stuff, and the way that it was like actually doing the surgery, I was just like, oh yeah, that's how it works.
Totally.
Like you can just get an appendectomy in 5 minutes and you just pop out there and you're good to go.
It knows how tall you are, all that stuff. It's fine.
It's all those lasers, man.
Yep.
So David has to follow through with his mission, and he wakes up Mr. Wayland.
What's the first thing he does after he's up?
What does he do?
Washes his feet.
Oh.
Biblical alert.
All right.
Yeah, I clocked that.
Technically.
Yeah, you're the Bible expert.
Well, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. He didn't wash his own feet.
Okay, cool.
So it was like a service. It's a service thing in the biblical reference. So Mr. Wayland is, we've talked about it, the egocentric, form of humanity. So instead of washing others' feet, he washes his own feet.
Well, or he gets David to wash his feet.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Shaw is begging them not to go back. She's been just terrorized by her experience with Holloway, the birth of the cephalopod out of her.
Yeah.
So she's like,
I would imagine that's very
this place is
traumatizing.
infected, we can't go back to it. Wayland is like, no, this is the reason why I got woken up out of cryosleep. I got 5 minutes to live.
Take me to that.
I'm going to the engineer. We get the confirmation that Vickers is the daughter of Wayland in this. And so this is where I wanted to put in this theory that exists where this was a part of the original script. It got taken out. It was like a couple lines of dialogue, and it was that Vickers she hates her father,
Yeah, that's clear.
and she has been trying to sabotage this mission
Oh.
by hiring incompetent people to be a part of this crew in order to basically like ruin her father's dream.
Shade
So
cast
that's
on
why
everybody.
Fifield's an idiot. Mm-hmm. That's why Milford's an idiot. That's why she allows Holloway to be kind of the lead, because she knows that he's going to just fuck everything up anyway. Wow. And she's basically just like set this all in process. She thinks they're going to screw everything up by the time my father wakes up. It's all going to be done. She doesn't really anticipate how good David is. Like he's super
solid.
Competent.
Yeah.
And David's basically going to get him literally to the finish line. And so that's kind of, like I said, there's literally a line of dialogue that exists within the original script that kind of explains this. It's basically part, when Vickers is talking about how much this mission costs and is like, well, why would we screw it up? And then she kind of says something offhandedly that implies that she might be the one trying to screw it up in order to ruin her father's legacy.
Interesting. Now, do we know thoughts on why she hates her father so much? Because
of David.
Because of David.
So she's never going to be good enough for her father. She's never going to be God's perfect creature. Mm-hmm. So God had to, in this case, Mr. Wayland had to create his perfect creature, his son, David.
She's the scorn of the everyman.
But she has a soul, so she should be more loved, whereas David is pointed out by Mr. Wayland does not have a soul, so why is he the one getting the special treatment?
And all this is very, very intentional as far as like why they wrote it. Because I mean, yeah, pointing it out like, hey, I've hired some of you that I've already met because I hired you, and others like she makes it a point that she hired those people. So that would make sense. There's also a line there. I honestly don't. I made the note. I don't know who says it, but I'm imagining it's Vickers that like, doesn't everybody want their parents dead?
Yeah. I feel like that's been in so many different movies. But,
Freud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they make their last sojourn into the cave. We've got Shaw. I think it's just Shaw, Wayland, and David that go, and they've got a couple other nameless crew members. I don't
Scotty.
think... Oh, yeah, Scotty's with them, too.
Yeah.
But Idris and Vickers hang back. They're not with this part of the crew.
Yeah.
And so they're going to talk to God. They're going to go wake up the engineer and get this party started. And so David knows how to play the flute, get this thing up and running again.
Yeah, interesting way to activate a spaceship.
Yeah, a little Zelda action.
Yeah.
And
So, okay.
yeah, they wake up the engineer. He comes up, and this is the big moment. This is Mr. Whalen's time to talk to God, and through David, he instructs David to ask him a series of questions, basically culminating in, I'm here to live longer than what I'm supposed to.
And also at this point, Shaw tries to butt in.
And that's when she has the, like, why do you hate us? You have a weapon pointed at Earth, and we're going to destroy us.
And Wayland takes the action of saying, like, basically shut her up, and then the
hits
guy
with the butt of the gun.
Yeah, she gets hit.
The engineer sees the violence of humanity.
They're still savages.
Yeah. And so this engineer theoretically has been asleep for 2,000 years, because 2,000 years ago is when they were planning on nuking the world with the black goo. Why were they going to do this? Well, you have to get the translated versions and the...
Watch some YouTube videos, people.
So the theory is that the engineers took a child from Earth and brought him to their planet and brought that child up in the ways and knowledge of the engineers' way of life.
Who could that be?
We'll get there. And they sent him back to Earth in order to instruct humanity on how to be better people and to gain eternal... Because eventually what was going to happen is they were going to bring humanity to the engineers' perfect world. Because this is not their world. LV-223 is not their world. The engineer makes that very clear, because they say, well, we came to your world because you left us signs, and the engineer's like, nobody.
Hey,
this is...
We would not give you a map to our house. This is just the kind of the hang spot.
And he literally says, I'm from paradise.
Yeah.
And
okay, interesting. Yeah.
So they send this...
You might say, he doesn't say that in the actual theatrical cut of the movie.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so we just, to make that clear, if anyone's listening, like, I didn't catch that. But yes, there's a lot of dialogue and deleted scenes, and even stuff that you can look up about stuff that wasn't even in the deleted scenes, but is in an original script. So that's what we're talking about. I think this is really cool stuff.
This is
let's get into it.
This is like the coolest part of the movie that isn't actually in the movie.
It's not in the actual movie, but it's pretty neat. Yeah.
So basically, that person that they took to then explain how humanity should turn their lives around and become better is Jesus. And what happened to Jesus? He got crucified, and the engineers were pissed. They're like, hey, we sent our prophet to you, and you killed him. Now we're going to nuke the world with black goo.
So they saw the crucifixion, or they didn't see it yet? Did they send Jesus and go to sleep?
No, they sent Jesus.
They're like, all right.
The crucifixion occurs.
Give this guy a wig.
And then the space jockey points his gun towards the Earth.
So why do they wait 2,000 years? Why don't they just do it?
Well,
right
because
then?
there's the infestation of the black goo on LV-223 that started wiping them out.
So they had a problem with the black goo.
The other thing that is not strictly in the script, but can be kind of sussed out, is that the last engineer also has something living inside of him. And that is why he put himself into cryosleep, is to contain the thing that is inside of him. The goo is basically wiped out everything else. There's not really any living creatures in it. But there has been an infestation in this particular engineer. They've been able to wipe it out everywhere else within the other engineers. But he has put himself into cryosleep in order to contain that.
Interesting.
So that is the theory that when we get to the end of this movie, there's a fight between the engineer and the gigantic cephalopod that has grown since being taken out of Shaw.
And it goes.
So you could read it one way, where the cephalopod has put the creature inside the engineer at that point.
Yeah.
You could also read it as the engineer has had this thing inside of it, has tried to contain it.
Why does that matter?
Well, it just makes it cooler. It just because the deacon the creature that comes out of the engineer at the end
Yeah.
is like the intro to xenomorphs as a whole.
Sure.
That it directly comes from the interaction between the black goo and the engineer.
Okay. And it is that we do see images of the deacon in the temple.
Correct. Yes. That they in ways worshipped this thing. So that gets to the other theory that exists.
All right.
So why do the engineers want to destroy the thing that they explicitly in the beginning of this movie created? Like why create humanity and then get so bummed out that you just, blow them up?
Yeah. And
Now, this happens in the Bible. There's the worldwide flood that exists within the Bible where
Absolutely.
God has creation, sees that it's wrong, picks Noah and his family, and destroys the rest of humanity because they were so wicked. So, again, this is another reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
But what could also be read from this is that there are two factions of the engineers. So there is the creation faction,
Yeah.
and there's the other cult of destruction. So the creation faction wants to bring life into different parts of the universe and cultivate them and stuff like that. The destruction cult of the engineers thinks that this is wicked and evil, and only engineers should be, the sentient beings of the universe.
engineer nationalism.
So they create, like LV-223, these protoplanets where they can build their black goo and then
Biomechanical weapons.
Yep, and then destroy the creations of the creation faction of the engineers.
Shout out to this guy Kroft
Yeah,
online, because this is
I'm just regurgitating what Mr. Kroft says.
Yeah, he does some good stuff. He loves making videos about Prometheus on YouTube. Shout out to him. But it's really good stuff, and it is interesting, and it definitely brings all of this up to another level of interest for me, because I just saw it in theaters. I didn't get any of that.
Well,
I guess maybe some of it, but like as far as the real, like, what is the biblical context or subcontext, none of that did not hit for me in 2012.
Are we? I think this is as good a spot as any for me. I told Chris before we started recording this that
That's
I
me.
was going to give a hot Ridley Scott take.
Sure.
And my hot Ridley Scott take is it's perfect for this part of the movie.
Lay it on me.
Ridley Scott, you created the theatrical version of this movie.
Yes.
You took a majority of the ideas and only alluded to them very lightly within the released version of this. Now you do this constantly.
What are the other times he's done this?
See Blade Runner and the unlimited different director's cuts of that movie, and then see... Well, I suppose there's a second version of Alien. But
it's not that different.
But also see Kingdom of Heaven, which is a terrible theatrically cut movie, but is an incredible extended cut movie.
Okay.
Because it adds in a lot of these ideas. Ridley Scott is the ultimate but wait director, where you're like, man, this movie has a lot of ideas. It just doesn't, it's not all there and all that. And then Ridley Scott's like, but wait,
I did that already.
I did it all. I had the ideas. They were all there. And then he puts it in. But this is what I'm going to say. Ridley Scott, just make your movie. Make the movie that is supposed to be there. Tell the production company, screw it. You're already giving me $120 million to make this movie. Just let me make it the way that I wanted. He has all this stuff in his head. He gets interviewed afterwards and talks about all this like great stuff that we just talked through, and then he doesn't put it in the movie. Put it in the movie.
And there's not a director's cut. He won't do a director's cut.
Yeah, he won't do a director's cut on this, but then he'll speak endlessly about all these illusions and things that he had ideas about what was supposed to be in there, and then he just won't do it. Just Ridley Scott.
Just make the movie.
Make the movie the first time.
Make the whole movie. He's got gun shy, like he pulls back. I'm sure it's there's other.
He's the greatest
involved.
second take director probably of all time, where it's just like, here's the first thing, you're like, oh, that's pretty good, but he's like, but what if I tried again? And he does, and you watch it and you're like, oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
But why didn't you do that the first time if you had all these ideas? It's almost like he's scared the first time through. He's like, well, I don't think they're going to like it.
He's a little shy knight.
Fucking, I'm sorry, Ridley, but I had to say it because this movie.
Apologies to Ridley.
This movie is so interesting for all the things that are not in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a theme that we have seen in some of, actually, I argue at least the serious, quote unquote, serious alien movies. That there's a lot that just isn't brought in there, so that's really great. And there's some director's cuts, the assembly cut, interesting stuff. I wonder why this happens so often with these alien movies.
This entire franchise is the great what if franchise. What if the extended cut of Aliens was the theatrical cut? You'd be like, oh, great, that's even better. What if the the extended cut of 3 was in there? You'd be like, oh, all right, maybe Fincher isn't as pissed off about it. What if, then we get to 4 and the director of 4 is like, perfect movie, did it, nailed it.
Dumb shit.
Everyone thinks it sucks.
Yeah, but for the others, I mean, I think it comes back to it's a franchise that takes itself, well, at least when it's in the hands of somebody that is capable, takes itself very seriously. Sure. And but then we as a whole, as a culture, are like, yeah, that's cool. Take yourself that seriously. You're scary. It's fun science fiction, but this is way different than Star Wars.
But it's probably why Alien 97 or 79 is the definitive movie, because it seems like the most complete. When you watch it all the way through, you're like, no cuts, no edits needed. We're all good. Any of the extended stuff, whatever, don't need it. Perfect movie, signed, sealed, delivered. With all the other ones, you're kind of like, there's just something not quite there.
Well, and perhaps because in Alien, in the original 79, they set up so many great things, and they didn't have to finish it all. It's just one movie. So, I mean, that leads me to a question. So, of course, Prometheus, it does so many things, or it attempts to do so many things. But the initial, I think, maybe thesis is, hey, guys, what was a space jockey? What was it? That thing in Alien that we saw and was so cool? So do you think it's cool? Do you feel more satisfied now that you know? Or was it cooler when you didn't know what that was? And it was just this very mysterious set piece that they saw and then moved on from.
I'm completely fine with the way that Prometheus explains the space jockey. I just wish that in the movie itself, it meant more. Because if you just look at the way the movie is, so we skip the part where after they have the conversation with the engineer, he gets all pissed off. He sees the evil of humanity and he goes in destruction mode.
Kills David.
Rips David's head off. Kills Mr. Whalen. Shaw gets away. He kills all the other people that are in there. And loads up space jockey style into the command chair or whatever.
I'm coming for Earth.
That we see. So now we've seen it. We see the suit come over the top, the elephant-looking thing,
yes,
over the engineer. He's in the turret gun, basically, and we're like, oh, that's what it is.
That's it.
That's the space jockey. And so I think that's perfectly cool. He's, at the command center of this juggernaut ship that is on its way to destroy planets.
Yes, and another part of your theory that you talked about being good factions and bad factions of engineers, the Juggernaut is the ship of the destroyers, and that's why we see in the beginning of Prometheus, the ship is different, and the ship is that of the creators.
Exactly. And so the thing that I forgot to mention about whether or not the engineer had the thing living inside of it previously, or was it because the cephalopod thingy put it in it, is the space jockey in Alien 79 has the abdominal tear that implies that a alien xenomorph came out of it.
For sure.
And it got chest burst, yeah.
And then, I mean, the other thing, too, that is a little... I don't know how to feel about it, that I don't like it, maybe, is that all this stuff is happening, but none of this is what is happened on LV-426.
Yeah.
This is Yes, these are the space jockeys. Yes, they have this ship. Yes, this is their backstory. But what is happening on LV-426, the planet that they arrive on in Alien, is not this.
But I think that's fine in a way because
Is this
you
another
can
another
kinda-
loader planet? Was LV-426 just another planet where they're making bio weapons?
yeah, and it went wrong.
Okay, and
And-
that's it. So it's just different planet, but same. So here's another. Why not make it the same planet?
I think we explained this at the start of the pod that the production company didn't want it to be a 1-to-1.
Like change it to 226.
Yeah, like
Brilliant.
and
Sure. No, I'm just. These are questions
because
I
this is
have.
what they brought Lindelof on to do to make it its own separate type of thing because Spates wrote it as a like full-on prequel and Ridley and the production company and Lindelof decided to move it away and make it not a 1-to-1.
Do you think in the original script it was on 426?
I believe it was supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everything was supposed to basically leave the audience going like, oh. And
I
you
feel
just-
like they could have just done that and it would have been fine.
They basically did it. They just
it's just
they
like no, but it's 226.
Yeah, or
which is
223.
or two, yeah, like, but you know, because we get the ship, we get all of it. But okay,
Well,
just wanted to talk that through.
To where we're getting to also, I mean, so the engineer is loading up, the ship is going off into space, obviously to fulfill its mission of destroying Earth.
Destroy the world.
Shaw has gotten back to the ship, Idris and Vickers and all of them. Shaw convinces them that this is going to happen. They're going to go destroy Earth. Idris is like, this is not a warship. And basically decides to turn the Prometheus into an ion bullet by turning the thrusters up to full and blasting into the Juggernaut in order
Very
to
quickly believes everything Shaw says.
Oh yeah,
It
he
says-
jumps right on and he's
I'll kill myself for
he's
this.
Like, he's ready to die. He's like, everyone else can jump off this bad boy. I'm going down with the ship.
We are not that close, Shaw, but you tell me this, I believe you. Guys, you ready to kill yourselves? Let's go.
Yeah, Vickers is like, no, I'm not ready to kill myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the other lifeboat. But yeah, for sure. I mean, that's fine. I guess really all that does is they needed a device to stop the ship from actually going to Earth.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, have him sacrifice himself. Okay, cool. The fact that Idris sacrifices himself. Any Jesus references there because he's the one that likes the Christmas tree? No. Yes.
I mean, you could.
Did he die for the something?
Well, yeah, he is the propitiation. There you
Whoa,
go.
that's
Big
a
word.
dictionary word. We'll look that up later.
For the sins of the world. So God looks down on his creation, goes, they deserve to all be destroyed. Jesus atones for their sins, and God essentially changes his mind because when he looks on us, he sees the perfection of his son because of his sacrifice. So Idris, in a way, ends the destruction of the world through his own sacrifice.
Absolutely. I love it. You're the perfect guy for this. I'm just letting you cook on this podcast. I love it. Let's keep going. So they stop the ship, and then we've got Shaw's on the planet, and David's like, hello, are you out there? It's me, the head of David. Come find me. Oh, am I sounding like Stewie now? I don't know, maybe.
A little bit.
Hello, Brian. Okay, not Stewie, but he contacts her.
Yeah, and I believe that's after
The
her
Vickers?
and Vickers are running away from the Juggernaut that's falling back to Earth, and
yes.
the entire audience screams for them to run to the side.
Sideways.
and they do
don't.
not. Well, Shaw does, basically.
Eventually
that's why she
rolls a little.
That's why she lives. Vickers gets smashed. But the way that the ship crashes looks exactly like the ship on
LV-426. It's perfect. Why?
But it's not. It's on 223.
Why did we have to change? But they wanted that planet to be more lush. Well, whatever. It's the future. Whatever. Fine. They had
Yeah.
to change it, but that always initially confused me. But then after kind of going through it in this kind of talk that we've just had, I realized it was kind of just stupid on their part. But so that the ship crashes. It's just horseshoe up, looks like it did in 426, but that's it. And then the engineer is pissed. He's alive.
He's upset. So he comes after Shaw. That means that he has to come on the safety pod that got released from the Prometheus. That was Mr. Wayland's room, basically.
With the med pod and all the nice decor.
And so the med pod's on there, and he's chasing Shaw around. He doesn't seem to want to kill her at first, but then she tries to axe him to death, and then he's like, all right, well,
I'm pissed.
You're also evil and violent, so we're taking you out.
You'd think he wasn't going to kill her at first?
There's definitely a look where he's like, hey, you were the one that was being, harmed by those evil humans that I took care of back in my own chamber. So we're cool. And then she attacks him, and he's like, not
you
cool
too?
anymore.
Oh, yeah. God, I can't believe
it's just
you guys.
humanity.
These humans.
And so she runs around and eventually gets to the med pod bay door. That opens up. Cephalopod grabs the engineer. They have a battle. Shaw gets away, and Cephalopod destroys engineer. Or they
fight.
They kill each other, basically.
I feel like the engineer eventually wins, even though the cephalopod does put its appendage down the engineer's throat.
Yeah,
and all that
I suppose
stuff.
it does win.
And then it the cephalopod kind of covers him up like a parachute, and then he stabs through it.
It does what facehuggers do, which basically sacrifice itself in order to infest the host.
So now we're thinking the cephalopod did infect him.
Well, that's the idea.
Did something.
That is the idea that is being told to us on screen.
Yes, and that's why they specifically show it went into his mouth.
So to run us to the end of this movie, David calls out to Shaw and basically tells her this is not the only ship on this planet. You're going to need me in order to operate the ship. Shaw goes and finds him, puts his head in a little duffel bag.
Takes the body, too.
Grabs the body, puts his head in the duffel bag. He smiles up at her because she apologizes, and he's like, oh, you're being nice to me.
Thank you.
And so they hop on the Juggernaut 2 and blast away to Alien Covenant.
And at first, she doesn't want to go to Earth.
Nope. Yeah, so she doesn't want to go back to Earth because she still has questions for these engineer fellows.
So she is just a go-getter after all she's been through.
She's like, I did not get my conversation with God.
Yeah, let me go to that planet.
Yeah.
Let's have more adventure.
We're going to paradise.
And so she does. Okay.
And so we think that's the end of the movie, but there's one more thing, and that is that the Deacon, which is a xenomorph-looking creature with a specific head shape that makes it look like a deacon from Catholic Church type stuff, pops out, and that is the
It's
the
an
black
alien.
goo created the xenomorphs.
So when I was initially, first of all, I like how it's kind of shot in that like it's fading in and out. Did you like that?
That's all right.
Okay. I thought it was an interesting choice. And then it shows us this. My initial thought too was, they added this in to have more Alien at the end of this Alien, but not in title, Alien movie. You were saying you did not think that you thought this was always supposed to end that way.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. That's the end of the movie. Let's talk about it though, because there's some other things I think, right?
Yeah. So I've talked about how these different characters kind of are an allegory for other things. So I basically searched the internet to just confirm that was the case and came up with a nice succinct little thing for each of the main characters here. So
Let's hear it.
Dr. Elizabeth Shaw represents faith and searching for meaning. Her religious background and quest to understand humanity's origins symbolize humanity's eternal quest for answers and the balance between faith and science.
Okay. Like that.
Peter Wayland embodies the hubris of humanity and the desire for immortality. His quest to meet the engineers and achieve eternal life parallels the myth of Icarus, highlighting the dangers of overreaching ambition. So just like the name of this movie, Prometheus, the servant of the gods who brought fire to humanity and made humanity more powerful than it ever could have imagined to be, but also brought evil.
Yeah.
And closer. Like, the idea is that fire brought to humanity makes them closer to the gods than they ever should have been in the first place.
Yeah.
And he is punished, I believe, by having his liver pecked out for eternity.
Yeah. Don't they have a quote about that in the beginning of Oppenheimer?
I think so, yeah.
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 Okay.
And so Icarus again flew too close to the sun. David, the android, symbolizes creation and the relationship between creator and created. His complex interactions with humans and engineers reflect themes of obedience, free will, and the existential crisis of being an artificial life form.
There's a lot there.
There is a lot there, but I mean, we've talked about how good Fassbender is in this movie. I think he nails every single, because you don't know, is he being evil like AIs of the past? Is he actually being nice? He seems conflicted in so many different ways, but it's because of all the stuff that's kind of going on. Like, what master is he actually serving?
Yeah, it's true, and he's great. I also do get a little like rascal vibes from him. I mean, like, maybe I don't know. I saw it originally over 10 years ago, so maybe I know what I know. But definitely as it moves on, especially even like when he unlocks the first door in the tomb, and he's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
And like a little smile, like,
Well,
"Did I do that?"
He's even like up there pressing buttons, and they're like, "What are you
Like,
doing?"
dude, he's like, "Nothing. Whoops. Sorry, guys."
And he's sneaking off and putting the vase of black goo.
He's a
with
little
nobody seeing
rascal.
him.
Yeah. But he's good, and yes, I think his character is interesting. Of course, he was definitely supposed to be the main character of the trilogy,
Yeah.
as we will see.
So the engineers represent the godlike creators and the mysterious forces behind humanity's existence. Their role in creating and potentially destroying humanity mirrors the capriciousness of gods in mythology.
Absolutely.
The black goo symbolizes the unpredictability and danger of tampering with the unknown forces. It serves as a catalyst for transformation and destruction, representing the unintended consequences of scientific exploration.
And it also it creates demons.
But it also created life, like good life. It's the duality of everything. The evil that can be created, that is essentially created out of creation, because the gods of this world or of any world seek to create a perfect creation. That creation almost every single time is corrupted by something. Just as a result of it being created, because you can always come back to the question of like, why would a perfect God create something that in its own ability to know everything would know that it then is going to be corrupted? So what is going on?
And who is it that corrupted Adam and Eve?
Satan in the Garden of Eden,
In the form of a
snake. Serpent.
Yeah. So okay, we got the
hammerpede.
vagina. Okay. I mean, they don't have to be direct. They don't have to necessarily work out directly. But okay. So again, that's what we see. We see snakes. I like to get into how the alien represents like hell, or the alien represents the xenomorph, of course.
There's even more, like, if you're thinking about the two factions of the engineers, the creation and the evil or the destruction cult.
Yeah.
There's allusions to that in the Bible too, of like the angels that followed God and the demons are the angels that fell with Satan.
Okay.
So, it's again the two forces, the God creator and the evil forces of Satan that corrupt humanity.
Okay, that's interesting stuff, and I think it does. It takes what a cool thing to take, what was essentially just a very cool, mysterious alien movie in the late 70s, and bring it to this. Like, so another question: do you think when Ridley Scott made Alien in 1979 that he had any of this in it? Like, or so you're shaking your head?
No way. Yeah, bad for a podcast, so I will actually answer it vocally.
He's nodding his head, people.
Yeah.
In the no way.
I don't think so. I think, again, like with a lot of the subsequent Blade Runner cuts where he adds additional things, and he's always been uncommitted to how things actually turn out in that Blade Runner movie. I won't give any more of that away, but he's gone back and forth. Let's just put it that way. And so I think he created the Alien story, the world. He watched other directors, creators add to it and stuff like that. And then years later, he's like, all right, I got one more thing for this. And then was like, I'm gonna really bring this home with the full creation story of this universe. And he didn't get a
huge swing.
He didn't get to finish it though.
I wish I maybe one day. You never know. It's not completely a done deal. I guess, but
Yeah.
it is very, very interesting that, you know, to take something where he was just like, I'm gonna do this really mysterious thing. We're gonna go in. We're gonna find this. I'm gonna put a space jockey there. Yeah, I don't know what it means either. Pretty cool, right? Which it is pretty cool. But then to go back and make such a story out of that is, and you know, to go into the creation of life. Like, wow.
Exactly.
Wow, Ridley.
Exactly.
Wow. Even if it didn't work for a lot of people, still, wow.
So, Chris, let's get to our
Let's do it.
awards.
Let's wrap it.
Because I already know what your favorite scene is, just break down once more why you love the MedPod scene.
MedPod scene is the best horror of Prometheus and one of the better horror scenes in all of Alien.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so much we get the chest burster. It was a novel thing and it's great, right? But this takes it to something totally new. And it still takes all the things that we love about alien horror, like the small enclosed spaces and the body horror to the T. I mean, this is much more intense. Well, perhaps much more intense body horror than we're seeing in a lot of these alien movies.
I think Romulus might be giving it a run for its money based on the trailers.
Ooh, yeah, we're excited about that. That should be great. But so yeah, it's just awesome. I even watching it the other day, and I hadn't seen it for years. I think I, vocally said something out loud watching it by myself, like, holy shit. It's pretty great. It's awesome. And the technology is there to really make it super gory, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the opening scene, the creation with the flyover, the score really hitting, all that stuff, the beautiful landscape. I think it's just some of Ridley's best camera work in any movie that he's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great way to bring us into the idea of what this movie is going to try and, bring to us.
Yeah.
We get introduced to these creatures that we've never seen before, the engineers, in the form of this one sitting on the top of a waterfall and then collapsing into it. It's just a great way to jump into this movie. Having never seen it before, only hearing things about it, I would say that in that first 3 to 4 minutes, I was so content because I had talked about in our last pod how worried I was that this movie wasn't going to live up to my expectations for it.
Yeah.
And in those first couple minutes, I'm like, oh, this is hitting everything that I wanted to.
It's beautiful. I remember I definitely went into this when I saw it in 2012 and I was like, alien movie, let's go. Which also explains why my favorite scene was what it was. But then I was just like, what? What is this?
See,
it's
I
cool.
know that this is going to be an exploration of what it eventually. So
I think
I have that part spoiled for me in a way. So that enhances my appreciation for the beginning a lot more.
Yeah. Okay. But that's a good scene. Represents where I was at. Where I think a lot of the audience in 2012 might have been at too. But it's beautiful for sure.
I think I know we're both going to go for the best performance of the movie by an actor or thing within the movie. I'm going Fassbender. I have to. He's my guy.
Yeah.
I love him and everything. I think this is really close to the way that he acts in Fincher's most recent movie with
The
him.
Killer?
The Killer.
It's got some
Just
killer
kind of that
vibes.
sociopath, no emotion type dude.
He just needs to throw on some Smiths.
Exactly. Oh, you gotta believe that David in those 2 years was checking out
He
the
checked
Smiths.
out Morrissey.
Yeah, for sure.
Between his Lawrence of Arabia sessions.
Between his 1,000th and 4,000th time watching Lawrence of Arabia.
It's like, what is this? The Smiths. Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, for sure. It's him. Who would you give it second place
Second place,
for performance? Putting you on the spot.
I really like Idris Elba. I made fun
You
of
hated his accent.
It doesn't matter. He gets to be the hero at the end of this movie, you know, the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
And he gets a lot of fun lines. He gets to play his little bagpipe accordion thingy, and gets to bang Charlize Theron. So
And that's such a weird part of the movie too.
It's weird.
She's like actively mean and cold. Like, okay,
I think you did a good job of explaining how funny he is when he's talking to Fifield and Milford over the comms, and basically just be like, "Screw you guys."
you guys have fun out there tonight. It's totally safe. Put it on mute. I can't believe these assholes. No, yeah, I would.
I also get to your point, and then I'll throw in my little fun fact here.
My second, if I had to do a second place, I would do Naomi Rapace, and I can definitely see criticisms, and I think she doesn't. But at the end of the movie, when shit goes wrong and she goes into I like it. So that's what it would be for me.
So
and also because the Charlize is just so one-dimensional.
She's written poorly.
And
her character is really poorly written.
Yeah, and which is a shame. And Idris is great.
He gets to have fun, basically.
Yeah,
the entire movie.
that would be like, if I'm just trying to do something different than yours. But I like her. She's interesting, and I had never seen her before. And she gives us our heroine. Great for the Alien franchise. She represents.
So I was gonna give a shout out to Ian White, who is the person in the engineer costume.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is the man that portrays the last engineer. He is also the Predator in Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
Wow.
Yeah. He is also 1-1 in Game of Thrones. But yeah, so this is
just like a tall guy.
This is just a tall guy that they like putting in makeup and asking him to do stuff.
He can move well.
But there is a direct connection between the great movie Alien vs. Predator Requiem and Prometheus.
Yeah, that's like your second favorite in the series, I think.
We'll get to it when we
Oh
rank
my God.
all of them.
AVPR.
I put up a post on Reddit basically asking people what they liked more, the first AVP or AVPR.
What'd they say?
All of them said AVP.
Yeah, Requiem sucks.
They're like, you can't see anything in Requiem. It's so
Thank
dark.
you. I said that. You're like, it's no problem at all. I see them just fine. It's wonderful. It's great.
So I felt vindicated because all those nerds on Reddit agreed with you.
I am a Reddit nerd, if nothing.
All right, so MVP. Who is your MVP, Chris?
Oh, okay. So I'll do you want to do yours first?
Sure,
I've never been to this podcast before. I don't know how it works, so I have to think for a second.
That's fine. I'm going to give it to Damon Lindelof.
Okay.
Controversial. I think a lot of people, especially the people that dislike this movie because of the way that it introduces ideas that they either didn't want answered or didn't have questions about, or think that he brings up stuff that doesn't get directly answered and then point back to, hey, you screwed up Lost. And just all you do, Damon Lindelof, is you have these crazy ideas that we're all very intrigued about, and then you cannot follow through.
Yeah, he's like Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Can't stick the
That's a
landing.
whole other podcast. Don't get me started.
But no, I mean, he makes great stuff, and I mean, I think
he follows through finally in The Leftovers, which is a perfect television show. It's a perfect 3 seasons. Everything that needs to be answered is answered. Everything that doesn't need to be answered is not answered. I am eternally grateful for The Leftovers because it's my favorite TV show of all time.
It's great.
Bar none. There will never be anything better than it. So I do have a soft spot for Lindelof, but I do understand the criticisms that he got. But I think that him working the second half of this script, basically, I appreciate what Spates was trying to do, and I think if they would have just done his script, I think it would have been just fine with it. I think Lindelof adds a lot of the stuff that we end up being intrigued about and talk about. Obviously, not all of it's on screen, but I think the lasting impressions from this movie that still get Alien fans revved up and ready to go are a lot from Lindelof.
I like it. He's a very interesting guy to me. I watched like 3 episodes of Lost, a couple, and I just didn't get on the train. But then I heard it was
I've seen
bad.
every episode.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't very good. The end was not very good.
So that's the misconception, is that the end is actually fine. It's the like season and a half leading up to it that people are like, you just kind of kicked the can for way too long. And when you finally did wrap it up, no one was watching it anymore.
Yeah.
Or everyone was so frustrated that they're like, oh, it's just this? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Then people revisit. There's been so many revisits of Lost, and they're like, oh, actually, it's a really good finale. And you're like, yeah, I mean, whatever. But he is rightly derided for kind of screwing up Lost.
He's an interesting name, though. If I ever hear that he's writing, I mean, that's one of the things that, and I think I'm definitely not alone in this. If you hear that he's writing something, you're interested. Yeah. And how many writers can you say that about?
Yeah, it's like Tarantino and...
But he doesn't even... Lindelof doesn't direct. Is
no,
that right?
No, I don't think he's ever directed.
Just a writer, but he has that much, kind of buzz around him. So it clearly says something, and I did like The Watchmen. Did you like The Watchmen?
I love The Watchmen.
Okay.
Yeah.
HBO series for those.
I can't make it my favorite season of all time, just like I can't make Station 11 my favorite TV show of all time because they're one season. So it's like... Congratulations, you made 7 really great episodes.
Mini series.
Yeah, at least The Leftovers, there's like 25 episodes of that show, so it in my opinion, it counts as a full creation.
So my MVP, I'm gonna give it to Ridley Scott.
Got to do it.
Fassbender's great. It's a great performance, awesome. But the world building that's done here is amazing. And he had a hand in all that, the way that the details that's put into the ship, that everything. It looks...
The movie looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
I had to say unbelievable, because that's my word.
That's your word. When the storm chases, so many things look just incredible. And also, I mean, gosh, he took some really big swings. And I think, with the... theatrical cut that is the cut, I don't think it necessarily works as well as I wish it did, but if I have to, one person, and he got it done. I mean, Ridley Scott returning to the, it's all because of him at the end of the day. So that's my MVP.
Do you know what Ridley Scott basically did to the rest of the Alien movies?
Sometimes to create, one must first destroy.
You got to take Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, all that shit, destroy it, and just build it again through Prometheus.
That's what he did.
He loved it. I mean, we're now going to say this for the 50th time. I wish this would have been the trilogy that he had in his head, and he was able to fully form it. Because now we're going to talk about, going into Covenant. I'm concerned about it. We'll give our ratings in just a second here, but going into this next movie, the last movie before we get to Romulus.
Yeah, which obviously totally unrelated, nothing to do with any of these.
Yeah,
Ridley Scott's a producer, but
probably a name only. I'm not sure he was hiring people to do shit on it, but this makes my anticipation for Covenant be brought down. I'm still excited to watch Covenant.
You should be excited. I like it.
But knowing that it's not the middle movie in what should have been a 3-movie series that could have culminated in something super cool. Maybe we would have been able to see Engineer Jesus in the 3rd movie. Who knows? But it does kind of bring it down a little bit. But let's get into our ratings for Prometheus.
Let's do it.
Finally give away what I actually think of this movie. Chris, do you want to go first, or do you want to follow on this?
I'll go first. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a nice, cool 7.8.
Damn.
Because, and again,
I only say that because that's exactly the score that I'm gonna give it.
Oh my gosh! Look at that! Mind melding.
I'm gonna boost it up a little bit. I'm gonna go 7.9. I'm gonna put it just below my Alien 3, basically. Okay. I think I gave Alien 3 an 8.1. But I really dig this movie. Even the theatrical version with all the, all the ulterior stuff that's not actually included. I think that, definitely boosts it up in my mind because it makes it a cooler thing to think back on. But I think just the movie itself, it's a great action movie. It's a great alien movie. And I was just thrilled to, maybe it was the slog that we had to go through with Resurrection and the 2 AVP movies.
Yeah.
But about halfway through Prometheus, as I'm watching it, I'm like, this is doing it. This is really doing it.
It's a return to good movies.
And then I think you get to that med pod scene after kind of some down, like a couple of those scenes that we pointed out that were bad, and you get to that and you're like, all right, we're all the way back in.
It's great. I really, and just to echo what we've said, I really wish that they would have been able to realize the full trilogy and see where it went. Maybe someday, but I don't know. Michael Fassbender is aging probably very well, though. I haven't seen him lately. Have you? He was in The Killer. He's fine.
He's doing
great. He's still fine. He could still do it. If they do it in the
next...
He's
driving F1 cars. He's doing his thing.
They got a 5 to maybe 10-year window.
Do you know who they have to bring into the next Alien movie?
Santa
I
Claus?
take a flamethrower to this place!
Pacino, baby!
Oh, and we have to...
Who are you expecting, Santa Claus?
We got to bring that guy back.
Yeah, he needs to come back, have a much bigger role.
What if Al Pacino played Varys in the wheelchair using his accent with a flamethrower?
He would be great. He would just have to... He would also not know his lines.
Exactly.
He would also have to be reminded, like...
Oppenheimer.
On that note, we're gonna do Covenant. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, see ya.
Thanks, Chris.